right, everybody, it is time for another edition of me reacting to your flaming hot takes in which you share your controversial opinions on music with me, and I'll react to them. I'll be the contrarian to your contrarian. So the game we're going to play here is you're going to give me a hot contrarian take, and I am going to give you the consensus opinion to show that I am really the enlightened centrist and you are the one acting on pure emotion. Meanwhile, I operate on reason, unlike you simple creatures running on hot emotion. Let's check it out here. So the first one we have from Tyree Hoffman. He says, bacon is extremely overrated. People pretend it's the candy of meat because the internet told them to act like it's the greatest food ever. This person said, are you using the internet from 2008? I do kind of agree with this. Like, I don't hate bacon by any means, but I do think it's very overrated. I do agree, obviously, that the bacon trend, you remember the bacon trend of 2013? You remember that when it was like bacon and everything? Here's the thing is like, people want to pretend like bacon is this. Like, if all bacon looked like this and was like this, I might agree that bacon was great. But this is like the best version of bacon that's ever existed. In reality, bacon tends to be kind of soggy and greasy. You know, like the worst is if you're staying at a hotel, you know, you're traveling for work and they have like the continental breakfast, you go to get the bacon and the bacon is just like floppy and limp and soggy. It's just basically grease with no flavor. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't think it's that great. I don't think it's that great. I like bacon too because I'm fat. However, I dislike when people rave about it like they've just discovered it and it's a revelation. Bacon should have crunch. I agree with both of those things. I mean, I feel like there's some nuance here. Bacon at its best is pretty damn good. However, semicolon, bacon is rarely at its best, right? So the best version of bacon, pretty damn good. But the actual version of bacon that you're most likely to encounter in the wild, not so great. That's what I think. Now, next one from Mael Bertrand. I don't know how to say this. I don't speak European. I'm sorry. Everything Tool ever made sucks except Schism. The total lack of any good songwriting makes everything an excruciatingly boring experience. I've never been able to listen to even half of a Tool record. Well, so the song Schism, he's saying this is the only good thing that they ever did. Let's see. Yeah. This song's okay. It's okay. But here's the thing. You guys probably expect me to be a Tool hater. I'm really not a Tool hater. I think that they're kind of overrated. Especially their later stuff is really boring, but you know, Tool at their best is actually pretty damn good. I think Sober, really incredible music video too. Adam Jones, the guitarist, is he the one that was like, he did like visual effects for movies, right? Like he worked on like Jurassic Park, I think, you know, before he was doing the band full time. Sober is a top tier metal single. Very few songs are better at approaching this level of evocative darkness. I agree. I think this song is good. I think they have quite a few good songs. Tool fan base makes me dislike them. Can't help it. Yeah, I mean, that's true. The Tool fan base is pretty irritating for sure. But I think this whole album is pretty good. I think the Opiate EP is actually also quite good. This is the first thing I ever heard by them. I got this EP when it came out. I saw them in whatever, 94 or some 93, 94 with like Rollins Band and White Zombie, I think. I think this is pretty good. I like the Opiate EP. Production's a bit rough. I'd like to hear these songs with better production. It's groovy. I think it's good. That part's super cool, like amazing drumming. I do agree with this. Tool, like most bands, got blander as they become more popular. Yeah, that's unfortunately true. Like their later stuff, I think, is pretty boring. I don't think it's like awful necessarily, but I think it's a little bit boring. But you know, Tool at their best is pretty good. You know, the Opiate EP. Undertow is pretty damn good. So I don't agree with this. I think there are moments where this is true. The lack of good songwriting makes everything an excruciatingly boring experience. I think there are moments when that's true, but I don't think overall that that's fair. So there's my contrarian take, is that actually Tool is not bad. That's what I think. How about this here from Jim Bob? He says the clean production of newer albums by legacy bands ruins their appeal. For example, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Metallica. I agree with this. I don't know that I would say that Cannibal Corpse and Metallica are in that category, but I do agree with this in general. For example, let's look at, to me, the best example of this is like all the old thrash bands. So like Creator, for example, this is Flag of Hate, which is my favorite Creator song from way back in 1986. Here's what it sounds like. Totally unhinged, right? I think it's awesome. Now, listen to their newer stuff, and I think it's not so awesome. For example, this. I think it totally ruins it, right? It's just, I agree with that. It's the drums for me when they sound fake. It's a buzzkill. Same thing with, let's listen to Deicide, which I think was a really good example that he mentioned. Deicide demos. I think this shit sounds cool. I love how shitty it sounds. And then you listen to their newer stuff, like this, for example. Total snore, you know, to me. So I agree with this one. I think it's especially true of metal. It's true of punk as well. Yeah, it's way better on paper, but it just doesn't work as well. This kind of music, whether it's like, you know, thrash, death metal, or punk, it works best when it feels like they can barely play, like they're just barely holding it together. It feels like just at any moment, the whole thing could just go off the rails and fall apart. And it sounds best that way when you can hear the imperfections and, you know, like when they do double bass and it's a little bit out of time and, you know, the guitar chugs are a little bit fucked up. It just sounds better that way. It sounds more like angry. Yeah, adds suspense. And I think it sounds more pissed off, you know, because especially the drums, when the drums are like too perfect, I think it really takes all the feel out of it. It no longer sounds human. So it removes a lot of the energy from it. And I think that that's really like what kind of kills it to me. So at least for me, I think this shit sounds best with like really raw, like crappy production. I'll give you another example of this. Another good example of this. Some of my favorite production of all time. This shit, like early Sepultura, fucking incredible. I think this sounds perfect. It sounds like absolute dog shit, but it's perfect. It's perfect. I love this. It is one of the best metal songs ever, yes. Drumming is so good too, so tight. Inner self. Like when Max says, Mas hypnosis. I see the world. Alt. I see the world. Det. So yeah, I can't do it. All those like classic metal bands or classic punk bands that come back with their perfect production absolutely just completely ruins it for me. I can't do it. Okay, your girl, Adrienne, says, still standing on my chili goes on spaghetti with shredded cheddar cheese hill, dying on it even. Now, I happen to know her. She's from Cincinnati. What she's talking about is this goddamn abomination that they call Cincinnati chili. Let me ask you this. Does this look like chili to you? This is spaghetti with ground beef, onions, and cheddar cheese on it. There's nothing chili about this. I'll tell you what it is. This is Greek spaghetti sauce is what it is. This thing called Cincinnati chili was started by Greek immigrants, and I don't know how it became chili, but this is just Greek spaghetti sauce, and they served it, and people in Cincinnati liked it, and it started to become known as Cincinnati chili. It's not that it's bad necessarily, it's just not chili. Yeah, ground meat with cinnamon. It's gross. Yeah, I forgot about that. It does have cinnamon in it. Yeah, it looks like dog food. It does. I remember the first time I had this, my friends were like, oh, do you want to get chili? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And so I went there and like, they were like, yeah, just order this. So yeah, I'll take a plate of chili. And they brought it and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't chili. And like, no, what are you talking? This is chili. Like, this isn't fucking chili. God damn it. Nothing chili about this. So I'm sorry, Adrian. I think you're awesome and I like you and I appreciate your support, but I cannot agree with you. This is an abomination. And the thing with Cincinnati people is like Cincinnati people love their hometown shit so much. Like Cincinnati people love the Reds. They love Skyline Chili. They love La Rosa's Pizza, and they love Grater's Ice Cream. I've never met people that love their hometown shit more than Cincinnati people do. I don't get it. Sorry, Adrian, but we're going to have to part ways on that one. Okay, next one. Ryan Katz. Finn's second channel should have way more subscribers than his main channel, full stop. Well, I completely agree with this. I could not agree more with this. And if you're watching this, then you are one of the chosen ones. You are one of my best friends. If you watch my second channel, you have my permission to tell everybody that we're friends, just like I frequently like to remind people about my close friendship with Sugar Ray. You may know him as Mark McGrath, but his close friends, such as myself, call him Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray and I are close friends. I like to remind people of that, and you may do the same with the second channel. If you're watching, consider us friends. And next time you go to a party and people are talking about YouTubers, you can say, hey, well, have you ever seen my close friend Finn Mckenty's video? Have you ever seen his videos? And they'll say, who the fuck is that? And you say, oh, no big deal, just one of my good friends. And then you'll turn to your other friend and give them a knowing glance because you're both second channel enjoyers. So I agree with that. I think it's better. That's what I think. Last one here from Nick J. Proctor. Graves era over Danzig era. I'll tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I never listened to Graves era Misfits until like a year ago. I never, ever listened to it. I just assumed it was horrible because, I mean, that's always the case, right? When a punk band replaces the singer, it's pretty much always bad. Like, name one time where like a punk band replaced their singer and it wasn't terrible. And so I listened to it a couple months ago for the first time ever, and I can confirm it's bad. It's bad. It's not good. Really not good. I'm sorry, I think this sounds like a local band. Famous Monsters is so good. I feel like the people who are into like Graves era Misfits are like the weird metal kids, you know, that were like into, I don't know, Machine Head or something like that. And then they heard this and they're like, oh, yeah, I like punk, like that Misfits band with their singer Daniel Graves. It's punk for Machine Head fans, I think. It sounds like a local band to me. I don't get it. As I have talked about before, I think Danzig era Misfits is some of the best music ever recorded. So when you start talking about Graves era Misfits, that's where we part ways. That's where I may have to, you know, I might have to break out the P word. I might have to break out the P word. Poser. I'm sorry, this is one of the only times that I will ever be a proud gatekeeper, but if you like Graves era Misfits, you just might be a poser. You heard it from me. I don't make the rules. It's just a fact. It's just how it is. And that does it for this edition of I React to Your Hot Takes. Thank you very much for joining me this time, and I will see you next time. This isn't fucking chili. God damn it.